Dear audience, please allow me to present my one-year progress report and PhD thesis with the title Neurocognitive Changes After Different Brain Tumor Treatments in Children. My name is Renáta Kiss-Miki. I'm a first-year PhD student and also a medical doctor at National Institute of Neuroscience. And my vision is to help the pediatric brain cancer patients and the researchers to improve the quality of life of them. And for this, my mission is to give a better life with less side effects for pediatric brain tumor survivors. For this, I'm running two projects, in both of them investigating the effect of different treatments on neurocognitive changes on children. In my first project, by performing a systematic review and meta-analysis, I was comparing the two major types of radiotherapy and measuring the survival and frequency and severity of side effects. Why it is important? As we know, childhood brain cancers are a huge challenge in pediatric oncology with a high impact on quality of life, and annually 4,000 new diagnoses are registered among the world. And more than 80% of pediatric brain tumors require irradiation to provide optimal survival. And as we know, radiotherapy have a lot of irreversible life-threatening side effects, for example, the neurocognitive decline. So our aim was to find the least harmful, still effective radiotherapy modality for pediatric brain cancer patients. Here you can see the differences between the two major radiotherapy methods, the photon and proton. Photon uses X-rays or gamma rays. It's commonly used and widely available and suitable for various types of tumors and locations. On the other hand, the proton uses charged particles, but it has a limited availability and it may require some specialized facilities, but it's beneficial for tumors for near critical structure and especially for young patients. So the clinical question was, which irradiation method is the least harmful, still effective for children treated with brain tumors? We used the PARICO framework. We included children with brain tumors, measured the two major types of radiation, and as measured we had the survival and frequency and severity of side effects. The hypothesis was that radiotherapy methods that uses photon beams improves the survival and decrease the number of adverse effects. We performed a systematic search in 4 databases at the end of November last year, and after the selection and reference checking, we get 28 articles eligible for data extraction. Here you can see the list of my outcomes, and as outcome measure we use the odds ratio and 95% of confidence interval and mean differences. And in the next coming slides, I would like to show some of the most important results. The first one is the 5-year overall survival, one of the most important ones. I would like to highlight that all of the included studies are retrospective cohort studies, in the majority of plots we had the homogeneous population. In this case, the odds ratio is equal with 0.80, which shows us that there is no statistically significant difference between the two radiotherapy modalities, but there is a tendency clinically that photoradiotherapy can increase the 5-year overall survival rate. The hypothyroidism, one of the endocrine side effect groups, was reported most commonly in the articles. In this case, we can see a clear effect with an odds ratio equal with 0.7, which shows us that by using the protoradiotherapy, we can decrease the frequency of this side effect, and this was a statistically significant result. The IQ level was reported most commonly from the neurocognitive decline group. It was measured on different scales, but there is a correlation between these scales, which was mentioned in every article. And in this case, we use the mean difference as measure of effect, and which shows us that by using the protoradiotherapy, we can reach higher level on these scales, so the neurocognitive decline can be shortened. Anemia grade 3 is also a very important outcome, because at this boundary, the clinician have to decide whether to stop or continue the radiotherapy. And this shows us with an odds ratio equal with 0.37, that by using the protoradiotherapy, we can decrease this side effect also but this was unfortunately a not statistically significant result. From the acute side effect group, the nausea and vomiting was reported very often, and with an odds ratio equal with 0.30 and 37 shows us that by using the proton radiotherapy, we can decrease also the acute side effects, and in case of nausea, we had a statistically significant result. The strength of our study is that only comparative studies are included with a high number of articles and high number of population investigated, and many types of tumor were analyzed. But we have some limitation that must be mentioned. For example, the low number of articles, missing data due to data collection, and also different follow-up period and follow-up protocols. In conclusion, we can say that proton is better for reducing the toxicity of radiotherapy, but there is no difference regarding overall survival between the two radiotherapy modalities. As an implication for practice, longer follow-up period for proton is needed, and also more proton centers, and as an implication for research, more two-arm comparisons and more studies to investigate the side effects based on the CTCA scale. Here you can see the status of my manuscript. We submitted our manuscript in Radiology D1 journal last week, and now it's under review. In my second topic, I would like to translate and adapt two scales in Hungarian for children. Both of these scales are investigating the status of neurocognitive decline after posterior fossa tumor surgery. The Semmelweis syndrome was first described in 1998 by Jeremy Semmelweis, who discovered that the cerebellum participates in the organization of higher order function. In this scale, in this syndrome, we have to speak about deficits in executive function, visual spatial cognition, emotional effect, and language over and above speech. And in 2018, it was developed a scale for adults, the Semmelweis syndrome scale, which can be seen here. And we would like to adapt this for children and to translate it, of course, because with this we can give a better rehabilitative plan for children. The cerebellar mutis syndrome is another complication of posterior fossa surgery. Usually it appears after 24 hours from surgery. It's very common, and it has a higher rate in children with malignant histology, and only rehabilitation is available for them. In 2021, it was established a scale which grades the duration and severity of symptoms. It's a very sensitive instrument. Even the mild presentation of the syndrome can be identified, and it's a very accurate prognostic stratification for clinical and rehabilitative intervention. So we would like to translate it into Hungarian, and after that we would like to conduct a pilot study with both of the scales. So here you can see the list of my two projects. The first one's already submitted, and the second one is undergoing. And I would like to thank you for your attention with a quote from Erwin Lázár, who said, "Even the most impossible things have to be tackled sometimes, because the most wonderful human experiences come from them." Thank you very much.
My question is, would you like to involve some other specialists in your second project?
Yes, at the National Institute of Neuroscience, we are working with the psychologists also, and we would like to work as a team with neurosurgeon, neurology, pediatric neurologist, and the psychologist also.
We mentioned the pilot study, and have you already decided which age group you would like to include in?
Thank you very much for your question. We have some discussion regarding this, and we are planning to involve children above 7 or 8 years, because you have to draw, you have to answer some difficult question, and for an adaptation of the questionnaire and for a pilot study, it will be beneficial to firstly test the scales on older ages, and after that we are planning to modify the scales based on the younger ages.
In the Hungarian reality, the availability of photon beam therapy and the photon beam and the photon therapy are the same, or
no? Unfortunately, the photon the photon is available in Hungary, but the proton unfortunately low yet. But hopefully after this article, maybe some implementation and some steps will be made to implement a proton center for these children.
And I think this is something that you should highlight in the further presentation, that your results could be the ground of a big step for the Hungarian oncological patients, and not just for kids, I guess. What about in the surrounding area? I mean, in Austria or Slovakia?
Yes, there is a center in Austria, very close to the border with Hungary, so the children who are eligible for proton, and they are sent to these centers, mostly in Austria.
So it's in real life. I mean, so you have already sent children to this. Oh yes, nice. Okay, but I assume that this is a huge paperwork, and or how can you manage?
Yes, and a big challenge for parents also. So with a lot of discussion with the center also, and with the parents and with the children. It's not easy. That's why we choose to analyze this and to bring something like this here in Hungary, and to highlight the importance of proton centers and the implementation of proton centers.